So we're going to have some fun for about 30 minutes. Sound good? I'm going to talk about one word today. Write this one word down, access. Access will change everything for you. My background's simple. High school and college a trader, turnarounds for a decade, got burned out, had 3 kids, 9, 7, and 2, took 2 weeks off, became 2 years. Sometimes you have to check out to check back in. Could you also give all the speakers a big round of applause that have been here so far? They deserve it. After that, I teamed up with GoDaddy and Franklin Covey. Launched a product called Successfully, a little business in a box. We launched a business course called Rainmaker back in 2005. The most intense 3-day course you'll ever take to launch, grow, and build a better business. Makes you work on your business plan, write your grants, really understand how to share your message, your story, sales funnels, loyalty funnels, KPIs. Most amazing thing ever was that it helps entrepreneurs get focused and build great companies. We charge $5,000 for the year, so it's very affordable. Then venture funds, inspiration conferences, speaker training programs. The biggest shortage today right now is women speakers. We need more women speakers, yes or no? Yes or no, women? Are the women here that want to speak more? Put your hands up high, let me see. Global stages need more women. 2012 had an idea to invest in an idea called the Small Business Expo. Put $1 million in, they thought I was crazy. Within 5 years, 100,000 attendees a year. We brought on Google, AT&T, T-Mobile, all these great companies. And today, you know, very blessed, new TV shows, new TV network. We launched something brand new called Podcast Mansions. So I want to share with you a couple things that I don't think people realize how important this is, that you hear about all these business deals all the time, right? And how incredible that stuff is. But I think it's important that you realize of all the deals I've ever done, I mean, for a kid from the south side of Chicago to host the president, right? To be able to have people like RFK Jr., you know, at some of the events we've done, to get to meet someone like Todd Alt. That moment right there was a moment we'll never forget. We were actually down at the Palm Beach Convention Center for the evening of the election. It was really an eye-opener because you felt like you were part of history. Does that make sense? And to be there at that moment was priceless. And I want to thank Todd Alt because he's given me a lot of these opportunities. So even though I coach billionaires, I coach new entrepreneurs, right? Sometimes you have clients that they learn from you and you learn from them. Does that make sense? And we become great friends. If there's one thing I will tell you guys today, and I want you to write this down, that you belong in every room. Is that clear? I don't care what your background is, what your ethnicity is, what your story is. If you don't believe you belong in every room, you'll let somebody with 10% of your talent make 10 times your money. And I'm telling you today that sometimes we're afraid to be in those rooms. We don't think we belong. But the more you're in that room, the more you start to realize that that's exactly where you're supposed to be, and there's no accidents. We don't realize how blessed we are, but I will tell you this, that, and I see so many people I know here today, and you'll see more of them on stage. Aoife, Tammy Demers is in the house, Sharon Lecter's in the house. Look up there. See that picture? That was just from yesterday, Sharon. But Sharon and I took a photo together 20 years ago. When I first started out, of course I knew of Sharon, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? Co-author, super boss, super mega, presidential, counsel, wrote the book called Thinking Rich for Women. We threw the party for her in New York City with Mark Victor Hansen, all these incredible celebrities. Because when you meet people, you meet them for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. There are no accidents, does that make sense? And the secret is not in the follow-up, it's in the follow-through. You know that picture you see with RFK, that was at dinner we hosted at Todd's conference. But because of that dinner, we became great friends. And we text back and forth on a regular basis. And I hooked him up with my friend that's the head of the A4M, that now there's 100 doctors writing letters for RFK Jr. And these are the top doctors in the country, all because of a phone call you can make. But I will tell you something, that of all the deals I've ever done, there's nothing more important than family. To raise great kids is probably one of the biggest accomplishments you'll ever have. Of every deal I've ever done, nothing's even close to what I'll show you next, right? And they grow up so fast, you guys. Give that a round of applause. I was asked at a conference, what's your net worth? And I said, I don't know, but I got 3 of the most amazing kids. Now let me dive into some stuff that'll help you guys with your businesses. Sound good? So this is what the brand looks like today. Now we have all kinds of companies, all kinds of different programs we offer all over the world. What you'll see up there is our 2025 calendar. You guys can take a photo of that. If you guys have an interest in being a part of this, we are looking for speakers. We are looking for coaches, trainers to be at all these events. 300 plus events a year, you guys. We run events almost every week somewhere in cities all over the world. Our Rainmaker will be in Dubai this year. It'll be in Chicago, Dallas. It'll be in Vegas coming up in just a few weeks. And I can tell you this, that every stage we have, we need more speakers. So let's have a quick conversation. I believe in our country that so many stores are closing because of Henry Ford. What he said the number one reason, and I believe the number one reason, is self-doubt. What he said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're what? And that's why people quit. They quit right at the edge of the comfort zone. Write this book down, 3 Feet from Gold. That book is paramount that so often we're right there at the finish line and we quit because somebody tells us that we're not good enough. If you're going to make 2025 your year, you start in 2024. If you don't release the old, you won't make room for some of the new. And I'm telling you, misery loves what? No, it loves your company. If you're passionate, if you're successful, you're doing great things, they can't wait to drag you down. So let me help you with something very powerful. When we look at business, we're always focused on making money. I'm going to have you guys change something today. Back in 2005, when we launched this little simple idea called Rainmaker, I had a goal to generate an extra $1 million for teaching 4 weekends a year. And I figured this out. If the program was $5,000 for the year, all I had to do was serve 200 customers. So what it really meant to serve 200 customers was serve 50 clients a quarter, or 17 clients a month. And this was the magic that we built Rainmaker on. The magic you have to build your business on is not about chasing the almighty dollar. It's about serving so well, the money flows at you like crazy. So we figured out all you really had to do was get in front of 170 people a month. That's 45 people a week with your message. So whatever amount of money you want to make, you write down the money first, right? Then you write down what your average customer spends, and then you figure out how many clients you have to serve. How many here today could use more qualified leads? How many here would like to write your first grant for your business? How many here would like to be part of a program for a whole year of training? Because if you could have got there by yourself, guess what? You'd already be there. So we started to break this down. We began to figure out that there were quadrants that made this possible. So let's kind of dive into this really quickly. In the first quadrant is the expert quadrant. I want you to write this down. I am an expert at this. Whatever this is, it can't be 5 things, so pick one thing. Nobody wants the guy that'll paint your boat, cut your grass, and he's also your LASIK surgeon. Does that make sense? I just want the LASIK surgeon. So in the expert category, start today, get an influencer site. Go to this little website called Preneur.ai. Preneur.ai, it's free. Launch an influencer site. Has all your PDFs and documents and links to your social media. Go to GoDaddy, pay the $5, point it to the Preneur.ai site. The second thing, go to Canva, get a book cover done. How many books do you have to sell on Amazon to become an Amazon published author? Who do you call to buy your book? Mom, number one answer. And the minute you sell one book on Amazon, what goes on all of your published material? Amazon published author. Go to Canva, get a book cover done tonight. Go to your Facebook, announce my new book's coming out Q2 of 2025. I'm going to show you at the end of my presentation, I created a book just 2 weeks ago. I only created the cover, but I spoke in front of 18,000 people. And I introduced my new book. Now, was the book finished, yes or no? No, all I had was the what? The cover. But 3,500 people ordered the book in 5 minutes. Would that be okay? So once you get this done, the next thing is you got to go to this website, download the app called Anchor. It's owned by a company called Spotify. Launch your own podcast. Interview 2 people a month, 20 minutes each. There's a service called Semble. It slices up your content into 18-second sound bites. They're called power clips. Use these everywhere. Now all of a sudden, 2 interviews gives you 2 months, 3 months of content. for your 20-minute interview. There are so many speakers here. Some are right in the audience. Pull them aside. Can I interview you for 20 minutes? We have a podcast studio set up right across the hall. Go over and use it while you're here. Because once that's done, go to GoDaddy, pay the $5, point it right to your anchor site, which is owned by a company called Spotify. So now you've just launched a global podcast with Spotify. When someone says, how big is your podcast? What do you say? It's global. Now the last thing, you have to get free media. There used to be a site called Haro, H-A-R-O. It got sold to a company called Cision, and they shut it down so that you couldn't use it for free anymore. But the guy that created that, there's a new one called Hero. So you go and publish and list your stuff. Now here's the thing. Put your new book cover up, put your new podcast coming out, put your new influencer site. If you don't have these things, don't go to Hero. And pick one category of expertise. And before you know it, reporters will call you. And when they call you, there's an app called Pingler. Write down P-I-N-G-L-E-R, Pingler. And this is how you get people to find you on Google, because for $3 a month, it helps you get top ranking, because now people know you've been published. Now, once this is done, you got to write a new business plan. When you attend Rainmaker, you're going to write your plan at the class. Would that be okay? You're going to create a 60-page plan at the class. Number 2, you're going to learn to apply for grants. Now, why should everyone apply for grants? Part of our course will give you 60 places to apply for the grants. Now, the last thing you got to do, and this is so important, you guys, I know you don't want to hear this stuff, but you're going to have to take ownership of the CEO. Because the minute you step into this community, I promise you this, you're not going to like the first 90 days, but you'll love it for the rest of your life. The empowered quadrant, teams and systems. These are things you have to have. So when it comes to your teams, learn to outsource. Number 2, get a board of advisors. Number 3, join some masterminds. 2 books you have to read, non-negotiable. One's called Think and Grow Rich. The second is called Outwitting the Devil. But if you're going to be in business, read those 2 books. The 4th are called influencers. You have to find people with bigger lists than you. You have to get in the right rooms with the right people. Here's where you start. Go to charitable events. Every month, pick a charity event, get a tribe, and go with a group. Does that make sense? If you'll put yourself in those rooms, you'll meet all the right people. You've got to have a good core team. Write down these 2 team members. Number 1, get an outsourced CFO. Number 2, get a good lawyer. Get a good accountant, get a good lawyer. Now flip the coin over. These are the systems you have to have. And we'll teach all this at Rainmaker. Number 1, have a good loyalty program. Number 2, have a good referral program. Every client you have will send you referrals. But it's your job to make it easy for them. Write down next day flyers. You get them all done on next day flyers. In addition to that, I know this is a lot of stuff to do pretty quickly, right? Is that you have to build processes. Here's 3 processes you have to have. Number 1, have a prospecting process. Number 2, an activation process. Number 3, a retention process. If you want to win in business, get those processes in place today. In addition to those things, here's what I find makes a difference, is that if you don't have this in place, you're missing out. It's called marketing strategy, which means invest in good collateral. These are 50 cents a piece from a company called Vistaprint. Let Vistaprint make nice folders for your brand. In addition to that, get yourself featured in what's called third-party advertorials. This comes from a company called M13 Graphics. If it's in print, it's real. Is that clear? Make sure you don't date this stuff. No dating it. Don't put no dates inside. If you guys are on radio, TV, or any event you're in, always ask for, write this down, reprint rights. Get the reprint rights. In addition to that, I will tell you that a lot of people don't realize how important these things are, but you've got to invest in good collateral. 86% of your clients are visuals. I will tell you there's a platform, write this down, called Mobex Pro. It is the hottest all-in-one funnel that does all of your marketing through via text messaging. 90% open rate, 30% click rate, auto follow-up, email campaigns, newsletters. So let me tell you where you have to speak. Write this website down, Vistage, V-I-S-T-A-G-E. It's all millionaires. You want to speak to millionaires, BNIs, Rotaries, Chambers, LaTip. I like civic groups, women's group, real estate groups, chiropractic groups. Here's where you find them all. Go to a website called Eventbrite. Go to eventbrite.com, search any event you want to speak at, any type of event, any city you're going to travel to, and there'll always be those events. We'll teach you how to get booked on stages every week. But I will tell you, these are websites you need to be on. Number 1, YouTube. In addition to that, people don't think how important this is, right? But I'm telling you, how many of you guys use Twitch? You can launch your own TV show today all for free. Amazon can send you paid clients right through Twitch. Get a domain name, point it to your TV show. And the last one's called StreamYard, another great place to get yourself where you can broadcast all your social media channels for $1 a day. And one of the most important ones you guys all have to try today, write this down, askroi.com. If you guys want a service that kicks ChatGPT's ass, right, and literally has a warehouse for your content, and you can sign up for free today, put it on your desktop and talk to it like you talk to a participant that runs your business, I'm telling you, it's the coolest platform you'll ever see, and you'll learn more about this. But if you're not using good software, you're getting beat. Now, the last one that I like, and I know sometimes you're thinking, well, how do I do this, right? There's an app called SuperDupe. Write down SuperDupe. You'll hear about it from IFA, where they can take a 2-minute recording of you, and they can record all your content, your training, all from AI. What you guys see today in AI is the worst it's ever going to be. Execute. People hate this slide. This is the slide where, number 1, write this down, build a legacy. Number 2, create a big vision. Number 3, you got to build daily KPIs. You got to build something called a DMO, a daily method of operation. We make you build days so strong, do all the big rocks first. By 10 o'clock, all the big things are done. Then the small rocks, then the sand. But I'll tell you what so much of this is about, is create a why movie that inspires you at such a core level. This is where I find entrepreneurs miss this. So let me give you the last thing I want to share with you guys. These are some bonuses we have, you guys. You get Digital Marketing Camp included in the program. You get access to our Icon Speaker program included in the program. Because I know for a fact that it's not easy to get there on your own. Does that make sense? It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? I always like to have a lot of fun. This was the slide I shared in front of 18,000 people. I just shared this last week. I got the honor to speak at Mar-a-Lago right before Vivek Ramaswamy and President Trump to a group called Women for America. And if you don't challenge yourself outside your comfort zone, you're never going to grow.